What's up, everyone? This is Soul with another Alpha Dragonflight coverage video. I'm a little backwards. It's early in the morning and we're streaming right now. And I wanted to take a look and kind of share this journey of discovery inside the Alpha. And so I want y'all to come along with me as we try to figure out what's going on here, because there's a lot going on here. This is the second Alpha build for Dragonflight. New expansion coming. And one of the things, a couple of things that were added were profession-related stuff. They added specializations and they added cooking. And so we'll talk about cooking first. Cooking is a brief little thing that we can bring up. There really isn't too much to it, but if you don't mind, like the video, subscribe for more content. And excuse me, let's get right into it. So cooking, at least it appears to be learned just like any other thing, and it is at the moment fairly underwhelming. It's not that, there isn't anything crazy to it. And excuse the UI. The UI looks funny. I just made it look a little bit bigger so you guys can read some of the texture on the side. So it's just like anything. You get materials, you craft stuff, you learn it. That's it. As for the materials, there are vendors like all over the place that let me buy just about all the materials that we need to get going, including materials that we probably will gain over time through daily content, through questing, things that are, kind of gated in their own way. They're like limited supply, but in this case, we can just buy whatever we want. So in terms of how long is it going to take to level some of these professions up, no idea, because the availability of these materials just kind of ruin all the possible context that help any of us try to understand exactly what's going on. So anyway, as for what we can make, there are the typical recipe of things, so we can make food, we can make, here's some unlearned stuff. There are like condiments, or they call them ingredients, that are used for like other things. Like, so for example, this one, they're actually called finishing reagents, and I'll get into that a little bit. But in this case, we make a thing so it increases your multi-craft, and honestly, I don't get what the tooltip means, but it increases your multi-craft by a certain amount, which gives you a chance to get multiple procs of whatever it is that you're crafting. So for example, like this hopefully healthy thing, recipe for 4 servings, actual number of servings will vary based on cooking skill. So this kind of counts on what your possible maximum crafting skills are going to be. Now, in the case of cooking, crafting skill doesn't matter. As long as you can make it, then you can make it. And these finishing reagents are going to be what influences the number of things that you make. I know I'm going to be losing people throughout this video. So again, I'm trying to learn this thing along with you. Do my best to share my understanding. Hopefully you're getting like a little bit of this, and maybe you can help illuminate in the comments here. So these finishing reagents, we can see that there are examples of things that we can use. This is everything that's available. You can hit this checkbox to indicate what you have and do not have. I happen to have a couple of things. So in this case, we can make this impossibly sharp cutting knife, which I believe blacksmiths can make. This will gain 15 resourcefulness to this recipe. So if I click it, it's going to give a whopping almost 2% chance to use fewer reagents. Now, as for what kind of fewer reagents this means, not quite sure. So this may be meat, which is named very fantastically. This may be meat stuff. It looks like it's something that you can just grab from, get from mobs. These packaged ingredients, this seems to be a vendor mat, and then these exotic spices, I have no idea. This comes from herbalists. Now, as for what the resourcefulness means, does this mean I have a 2% chance to use like one fewer of these ingredients? Maybe. And in the case of finishing reagents, you need one finishing reagent per cast. So it feels like kind of a costly thing to have to require this reagent, which requires certain materials. Let's take a quick glance at this. Shucks, I thought it was here you go. No, skinny knife. Maybe I'm not finding it, but it does seem kind of odd. Oh, actually, it was right here. It does seem odd that I would need, one ore. I guess it's just one ore as well as it looks like this is a common reagent. So it looks like these are probably things that are found via mining. So you need one of that, plus plus a plus this in order to make like one bit of food. And in this case, this food, all it does is give you health and mana. That's it. It feels like it's a bit overdone. So here's this ingredient, this chocolate thing. It increases your multi-craft by like quite a bit. It feels like it's a lot of effort in order to create more food. Now, there's a pretty fair reasoning that the economy will work itself out, and this can be efficient given whatever prices, given whatever these costs are. So, for example, this ooey gooey chocolate, this seems to be both things that you can. So this you can get from a vendor. These conveniently packaged ingredients. The Seldrazian cocoa powder, though. Let's see. It's often how funny. It's a common ingredient, often sold by cooking vendors, but it also can be bought and sold in the auction house. So two things that we can get via vendor. We make the stuff, and then we use the stuff to make more things. So it's a matter of, do you want to take those extra steps to do it or not? Now let's definitely keep in mind that this is just like regular food. The number, and also the numbers can change to like whatever. We're just looking at like the really high level concept of these are the steps that you need to take in order to be able to make like the best kind of food that you can. So it's going to involve a little bit more walking or a little bit of restocking of materials. You want to have a whole bunch of this stuff available so that way you can keep crafting the most of everything. Let's take a quick glance at like feasts, because there are feasts. And notice that there's nothing here yet. We don't know if there's going to be a way to proc more or not. But getting all these different materials will let you make these feasts. Now, of course, let's see, Alpha and Eldorado. I think these seem to be cooked foods, though. So let's try to find these. Let's try to find one or some of these, if that's possible. Okay, so sizzling seafood medley. So here's one, sizzling seafood medley. This one also does not ask for like finishing reagents, anything like that, in order to make more stuff. So it kind of begs the question: do you need any of this? Is it a big deal? The bigger question is this done? My guess is no. I don't think that this is done, but like I said, we're kind of getting an idea of what to look for, or it might just be not exactly a PTR thing. Let's do this together. Let's learn a recipe. So let's blacksmithing. Okay, I think Nomi will tell me what I need to know, because I'm able to just buy these feasts. And if we can find these feasts, so here we go, sizzling seafood medley. Let's learn that one real quick. I know it's kind of janky that we could just learn all of these things almost immediately. So I want to be able to find the feasts. So I think, here we go, this will work. So let's learn these two recipes, and then we'll try to take a look. Because that might be what lets me look at the full tooltip of this thing. So here we go, Graal's Devotion. Okay, so here we go. So we do get to see the same thing. We get to make up to 2 of these. I think it might be up to 2 of these things, as long as we have these reagents. And we'll be able to do the same thing here. So it kind of multiplies itself, which is kind of cool. But again, it's a lot of work. You're just going to have a bunch of these different finishing reagents in order to get by, which are not expensive. But but by the principle, we're looking at these additional extra steps. It's not just click and make. As for how you feel about it, it's up to you. I think it's okay. I think it does add like a little, like a tiny bit of RP flavor to it. The fact that all these things can be available via vendor, notably these finishing reagents. Like if I can make this ooey gooey chocolate with just vendor materials, I guess those are just extra steps for me. And if anything, it'd be something that lets me up my skill a little bit whenever I can learn this thing, because I don't know when I can learn this thing. And then just making a whole bunch of knives, because you can see like this is still like a recipe that lets me learn stuff, or that lets me earn skill, and I'm already at 41 cooking. And my skill doesn't seem to, the whole application of skill and inspiration, all that stuff that we were hearing about in the early previews, that seems to have not much to do with cooking, at least so far. It could be added. At the moment, it's not there. And so this feels very, very simple. There isn't a whole lot to it, despite everything that I just said. It's going to be the other professions that we're going to take a look at today that are like way more. Chat, this is the standard UI. This is just how it looks like. It's alpha though, so everything's going to look jank. Everything's going to look like way, way different later on. My inventory is full. It looks like my normal inventory. But let's talk about blacksmithing now. And by blacksmithing, I'm also talking about kind of sort of the other armor crafting professions. So it'll kind of give you an idea of what's going on. Now, this feels a little bit more complete, and I think I'll be able to explain kind of the ins and outs of how professions are going to work in Dragonflight and possibly beyond, depending on how well this is received. So let's take a look at like this kind of this kind of basic recipe here. Ask for materials, whoop-de-doo, and let me help you understand like what this breakdown is here. So the recipe difficulty is 300. It says it determines how much skill is required to make this recipe at higher levels. My crafting skill currently says it's 100, 25 plus 75, and then there's this inspiration thing. So let's look closer at what this means and have water. Crafting skill is broken down to that first number, the 25, that is your actual blacksmithing skill. The 75 there has to do with the kinds of materials that you're using. So 25 is my current blacksmithing skill level. You can see it right over there. The 75 comes from the materials that we're using. So right now I'm using high quality materials. I have this thing set to use the best quality reagents that I have, and I can buy all that stuff for free. Again, this is alpha. If I uncheck this box, and it'll default to the jankiest materials that you have, it'll just go with whatever you've got. And you can click on these things to indicate, okay, so I got like 10 of like this janky stuff, but then, let's pretend we're like here, and you have like 3 of like this good thing, and you have 5 of this, and you have 2. So you have different qualities of materials. You hit accept, and that's going to adjust your skill by a little bit, because you see that you have like different levels of ore. So basically the higher skill ore, or the higher skill materials that you're using to craft the thing that you want, the more your skill, the more your crafting skill goes up. So now it's at 60, whoop-de-doo. But if I go back to using the best stuff, it's going to go all the way up to 100 if I use the best things. Now, it's not capped here either. Of course, my crafting skill can be considerably higher if I up my skill all the way to 100. However, if we look at the crafting skill breakdown, that still wouldn't be very high. That would mean that I have a maximum crafting skill of, here's the head math that I'll try to do, is 100 for my possible maximum crafting skill, and 75 for the materials that I'm using. So I'm only going to be at 175 crafting skill at most, which is like, wait a minute, buddy. The recipe difficulty is 300, and if I want to make the best stuff, if I want this to be a 3-star reagent or whatever, I'm going to need my skill to be like way, way higher. How do you do that? One small way is via inspiration. So here we have like a crit strike thing. We have a 5% chance to craft this recipe with 100 bonus skill. So potentially, as is, I'd be able to craft this thing at a possible 275 crafting skill, which gives a much higher chance to get like the best quality reagents. But it's still not that 300. What the, well, what the heck? And that's where specializations comes in. And I'm gonna get to that. Maybe I don't know, should I get to that now or get to it in a little bit? I'll get to it in a little bit. Finishing reagents, it's locked right now. And you can see it says unlock through specializing further in your profession. So I guess now I'll get into specializations, which is this jank UI right here. So this is a God, this thing is deep. So specializations will allow you, just as advertised, you'll be able to pump points into certain parts of your profession in order to make things better. So let's take a look at I guess, I don't know if it's anvil mastery or specialty smithing. I guess it doesn't matter because I think I have points. I should have a bunch of points. Okay, cool. Yeah. So these specializations are earned through specialization points. I don't really know how to get this stuff. Now, they've said, the WoW team has said that you'll get these things from fulfilling crafting orders, from doing quests, from finding crap on the ground. And at first, the impression that I had was, okay, these specialization points, it's going to be kind of like those currencies from Wrath of the Lich King or whatnot, where, okay, each day I do a daily, I get 1 point, and, after I get like 5 points, cool, I can buy a new recipe or something like that. This has that similar feel, but it's just jacked up to extreme levels. So let's just run through some tooltips, I guess. So armor smithing, improve at making plate armor, gaining 1 crafting skill per point in this specialization. So let's say I max this out. This has a maximum rank of 30 points. Once it's maxed out, all of my armor crafting recipes are going to have a bonus 30 to their to their crafting specialization. So let's take a quick look at like an armor thing. So like this explorer's plate chest card, right now you see a crafting skill of 100, 25 plus 75, just as we saw before, because we're using good materials. This is my crafting skill with the maximum. If I pump them 30 points into armor smithing, then I'm going to get an increase of 30 points. In fact, let's just do that, because shoot, why not? So we're going to learn armor smithing, boom, and we see this additional UI, because as we put points in here, we get plus we get an additional thing to our crafting skill, but also we get some bonuses too. So you see next major bonus at rank 5, we get +5 inspiration when making plate armor. We can just pump points into here, and this gets higher and higher and higher, and we can see that there are different bonuses that we'll get to. So we start off with being able to add extra optional reagents. And then here's this +5 inspiration we're talking about. Here is learning the subspec of your choice, which means to go further down these trees here. There is 5%, there's +5 resourcefulness, so the chance to use fewer resources when making stuff. It's a small amount, but it's something. From here, you learn another subspec, because you'd only be able to learn, I guess, like 1 thing at a time here. Another 5 inspiration, and then finally at this bottom here, you can learn the final sub-specialization, which means that you can finally learn all 3 of these things, that are now lit up. Armor crafting is 15% faster, plus 15 inspiration and 15 resourcefulness when making plate armor. So let's finish pumping shit into this here. So now I'm like fully armor spec, and before this point, I could start diving into like some of these deeper ones, and I don't know if I can reset these. I don't think I can, but whatever. Let's go back and look at this this armor piece right here. So now I can, let's see. Hopefully this looks okay. So now you can see my crafting skill here is at 80. So it's 25. 25 of my base crafting skill, and then it says 55. And let me knock this down to like basic materials. So you can see here that without the good materials, it doesn't add anything to my crafting skill. So now we're seeing 25 from my base skill, and then 30 from my armor specialization, if I'm understanding this correctly. I hope I am. But then we also, I think this also, we also have the additional inspiration points. You can see it works like a secondary stat. So it's 8% inspiration because I have 25 of the actual stat. And then I have 3 resourcefulness because I have 20 in that stat. Now these are low stats. 8% sounds pretty janky. But hey, getting this extra bonus skill, that's not bad. And if I go back to using the best reagents, with this crafting skill, I'm able to make a rank 4 piece of gear, which is not bad. And now realize also that these ranks, they're pretty small bumps in item level. They're not like huge. So if you can make like just straight up better armor, great. But if you can make the best version of this armor, that's kind of way cooler. Let's go back to the specializations and let's pretend that I want to make like the best shields, because shields are all the way down here. It's pretty deep. So I needed to have let's see, how far did I need to go? So I needed to have put in, I think, 10. 15, 20, 20. Yeah, I need to put in 10 of these points in armor smithing in order to get access to one of these nodes. So let's pretend in our heads. And I wanted to get into shields. I want to go straight to shields. Okay. So I'm going to learn this subspecialization. And I'm going to learn the minimum requirement that lets me learn how to make these shields. So it looks like I just need to put 10 points into here. Boop. So what does this get me? I got 10% inspiration when making armor for chests, legs, plus shields. Go me. And then here I can learn the subspec. So let's go down to shields now that I can pick this up. It looks like learning the subspec doesn't cost a point on its own. And let's take a look at, so there are another 30 points in here, 30 points, 30 points. Everything here seems to be like a 30-point sort of dealie. So let's see what happens when we learn how to make shields. So when you get plus 5 crafting skill immediately when making shields. Plus 5 crafting skill. I guess it's another 5 crafting skill. This lets me learn an epic recipe, which is cool. Then I get more crafting skill. Learn to use special finishing reagents that improve crafting quality on shield plants. Oh, that's gonna be nuts. I'll show you that in a bit. And then 5 more skills. So this lets you, again, make the best quality, the best possible quality of shield. So let's just pump into this. Let's go all the way. And again, I have no idea how long it'll actually take to get to the bottom of this tree, let alone, get maximum points. Because here, I can put 10 points here, 10 points here, and then, whatever points here to make like the best kinds of shields. I don't know how long it's going to take. We have no clue right now. But let's go ahead and just go all the way with these two. Because this gives me bonuses like more resourcefulness, more inspiration. So not exactly skill level. But it does, but it is going to be to your benefit. So I can now make the best shields in the game. Maybe. I don't know. So let's take a look at this Molten Defender, which I unlocked. Now we can see here, my crafting skill is at 115. So it's 115 with, with 25 base skill. Oops. With 25 base skill and then a 90 bonus because of all the specialization stuff that I was doing. Now this Primal Molten Ally, I have no idea where it is. Smelted by players with a blacksmithing skill. Great. Oh, it's this stuff here. So I want to make a rank 3, but right now my skill is pretty low. So even though I can make the best shields, I can't make the best reagents. So I gotta go out. I gotta ask someone. I gotta find someone that can get me like a rank 3 of this thing. But since it's just me right now, let's find out how to make it better ourselves. Which I don't know how. So is this what's going to let me make like the better stuff? Poignant plans. So, okay, so what's Anvil Mastery? Specialize in the art of blacksmithing, bolstering your ability to use your limited resources economically, as well as greatly improving the quality of all your crafts. Okay, that'd be cool. Improve the art of blacksmithing, gaining one crafting skill point. Okay. What kind of bonuses? +3 skill, +4 skill, more skill, and it's faster, and I get more crit. Okay, so that's if I go that route. Now, what about these? Use reagents more economically, gaining more resourcefulness. So this seems to be kind of the same thing. So resourcefulness. So I can make stuff cheaper. So if I'm a mass producer of whatever it is, cool. I definitely want to go this route. And then what about this one? This one is more inspiration. So if I want to go all in with the crit and get a chance to like make like really awesome stuff instead, then that would be the route to take. So Anvil Mastery is actually a pretty good thing. Good thing to pick up. Now what I want to look for is, here we go. I think it's smelting. Yeah. So let's take a look at the smelting stuff. So specialty smithing, improve at making non-martial goods, gaining 1 crafting skill point per thing. So again, we're trying to smelt that stuff so we can make like that cool armor stuff. So can I go? Requires level 50 of Dragon Isle's Black. Oh, you! So that's the trick. I need to have my actual skill, this thing at 50. So I can't do that right now. I'm not going to do that for the purpose of this video, but that kind of gives you an idea. So if I wanted to make like the good stuff, I would need to have, again, like this high level primal molten alloy, which I'm pretty sure I was not able to see. I wasn't able to see it. Now this is crazy because what these specializations mean is that, I imagine that that there are going to be folks that are going to be like, I want to make like the best single thing. And in this case, it's very much broken down to a specific piece, as I had talked about like a while back. I want to make the best breastplate, shields, greaves, helms, pauldrons, all the plate pieces. And from that, I'll be able to, I have to get to the bottom in order to unlock that epic recipe, like this epic recipe that I'm talking about, this item level 393 crazy thing, whatever it is. But let's take a look at the recipe itself. I can infuse it with power, and I can increase, which both increases the difficulty. Like notice it says it increases the recipe difficulty by 50, but I can also break into that realm of, more powerful epic stuff. I can set it to an item level of 419 to 429 based on crafting quality. And I don't recall what is the raid item level here. Let me take a quick glance. So let's go mythic. 398. Wait, shut up, really? 398? But, okay. Let's presume that item levels aren't set yet. Because don't tell me that that this Primal Molten Defender with the right stuff, that I'll be able to make it beyond mythic quality. So let's not trip over that too much, all right, guys? What we're seeing here, that we can up the quality. I have no idea how to make this distilled primal infusion. It's probably like one of these. It might be one of these like crazy, specialization recipes, or this might be the thing that might require soulbound reagents. Who knows? I really can't say. Here we can customize the secondary stats. These don't really say much except for, hey, I want to be able to make it at the quality that I want. I'm not quite sure why there are qualities to it yet. It doesn't quite. I'm not quite sure. Actually, no, I think I can see here that if I use a high quality missive, then the recipe difficulty goes down. It becomes a little bit easier instead of it being harder. So, yeah, because ultimately, the higher the recipe difficulty, the bigger the delta, the lower the delta, or the lower the rank that it's likely going to be. So if I were to use the rank 3 missive, it's going to be easier to get closer to that 429 item level as opposed to not. And keep in mind that even if you do craft something, you can recraft it later. Also keep in mind though, I totally lost it, but you'll be able to recraft these things, once you're able to, once you find someone with the necessary skill, and they may be able to bring it up to that 429 item level. You just got to bring them the materials or get those materials yourself. Let's look at other stuff though. These embellishments I found to be kind of crazy. So this blue silken lining, it provides a certain property, which we don't know what it is, but these provide properties or special things like enchants almost for your gear. But it does increase the recipe difficulty again, which again makes it harder to get past like this 419 item level. You might be stuck in this 419 item level if you just use basic materials, but hey, as long as you can make it right. And so here, adorns your armor with thick spikes. I have no idea if that's just a cosmetic thing or not, or does it add thorns damage? I'm hoping it's the latter, because thorns damage is always cool, unless it sucks, but you know what I mean. This next one, this is practical. It increases your armor by a certain amount, and it reduces durability loss of this armor piece, which is cool for like tanks. It saves them a few dollar bills, and of course, more armor, less likely to die. Again, save a little bit of money. All these recipes seem to add at most 25 recipe difficulty to these, which is, okay, as long as it's like the same thing. Here it increases the duration of Dragon Isle's potions by 10% per stack, which I'm not quite sure what that means. Okay, maybe I can speculate on that right now. There is an equip limit of how many crafted pieces that we can hold on to. Now, so far it's 5. I don't think it says anything here, right? Yeah, it doesn't say anything here. And funny enough, this is a bind on equip piece of gear. But again, so far the equip limit is going to be 5. So there might be up to 5 stacks of increasing the duration of Dragon Isle's potions. That'd be kind of cool. Is it going to be worth it to get an extra 50% duration of your pots during a burst phase? Is that going to be worth it as opposed to having different gear that might be at a slightly lower item level? Not sure. And then finally, there's this thing here. It increases the duration of well-fed from Dragon Isle's meals by 100%, and they now persist through death, which is neat. having one crafted piece just for the sake of this would be a really cool money saver. Like, I would love to be like, all right, guild, let's get together. And that's kind of the idea here. It's like to tell the guild, hey guys, let's get together. Who's got dibs on shields? Me, prop paladin, hell yeah. Who's got dibs on this and this and this and this and this? And so you can kind of start planning stuff with your friends and your teammates, or by yourself with your many alts. If you want to be a person that has like 10 blacksmiths and you're making like a little bit of everything and you're totally self-sufficient, fine, sure. Let's take a quick glance at some of these other specializations though, and we'll take a look at alchemy too. I didn't forget about you guys, but that's like the real, that's most of the meat that I'm talking about with these specializations. So here with weaponsmithing, we're looking at, I'm guessing, sharp stuff and not sharp stuff. Yeah, so blades and hafted stuff, and then we go into short blades, long blades, maces and hammers, axes, picks, and polearms. Now, these different weapon specializations, I imagine that there are going to be people that like really go all in for it, but I'm not sure either. Definitely there's going to be a difference between one-handers and two-handers. But I think this is going to be a really popular route that people are going to take. Shields don't sound like a good idea, but I feel compelled to do it myself. And we do have a couple of other blacksmiths in guild, and I hope that they participate in this too. So that way we can really dive into it. I mean, just as a side comment on special. Well, I'll briefly touch on this, and I'll say it again later. The cool thing about this is that, at least at a glance, it's not like leveling Shadowlands Shadowlands specializations, where we're just pumping and dumping tons of resources into like these throwaway items for the sake of upping our skills. In this case, again, we're not quite sure how to get these points. I hope it doesn't involve like just huge expenditures, huge resource dumps. But the vibe that I'm getting is that it's not gonna go that route, and that people will be able to like dive in. But I'll bring up some concerns that I have about these like a little bit later. So specialty smithing, let's take a look at this again. So toolsmithing. Become an expert at crafting metal tools and accessories for various professions. I think this is like for the different crafting gear, because I didn't even talk about that. Like up here, you can see profession tools and accessories. You can equip accessories that can also influence your crafting skill too. I haven't really gotten into that though, but that's going to be a thing. But the real bread and butter, I imagine, is going to come from your specializations. There's going to be a lot of time that's going to be put into developing these. So there's toolsmithing, there's adventuring gear. Become an expert at crafting adventuring gear such as grappling hooks. Grappling hooks? There are grappling hooks? I got dragons. I don't even know grappling hooks. But I guess I've read some data mine things about grappling hooks, grapple points that can help you. Like if you're on your dragon and you want to get to a higher point, you can find these grapple points, and I guess that's going to be a thing, but that's all super speculative. Stonework. Become an expert at crafting enhancements made from stone for weapons and tools. I'm not quite sure how that's going to help much, but I'm pretty sure there are going to be some recipes that are like, hey dude, you need this in order to eventually make some of the cool things here. And like, yeah, I can't see this. Oh yeah, okay, I can see some stuff on the side. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. That's very confusing. And then smelting is what I was talking about. Smelting is what's going to make this recipe easier to do. And so that actually might be a pretty decent moneymaker, and something that if someone wants to be quick and they want to be like, dude, I just want to make like hella money, they're going to focus on gathering reagents and then just smelting stuff. So that way they can sell that to the folks who need it. And like Race to World First people, they're going to be on that. All right, Anvil Mastery is probably something that people are going to dive into like quick. So so I guess I can learn this now. Yeah, let's do this. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. I'm a cheater. Okay, so I learned that, and then Spartan smithing. Okay, this gives me more resourcefulness, and then the other one will let me get more inspiration, if I recall this correctly. Like, I know that we don't know enough, but so far I think this is so fucking cool. It is complicated. It's more complicated, right? But I feel it's just so much more in depth, and that's what I feel like professions needed so badly, like a lot more depth, but without some of the pain in the ass that comes from like other crafting that I've seen in other games. So let's see. I still can't do a finishing reagent here. I wonder why. I think it's because I need to know the smelting stuff. Yeah, it's probably the smelting stuff. But notice that now my crafting skill is at $140. I got 115 bonus to my crafting skill. I'm almost guaranteed. Almost guaranteed. Not quite, but almost guaranteed to make like a two. Let's go ahead and start making stuff. Let's see what happens out of that. So notice now I'm pretty well into the 2 rank thing. The UI scale is all funny. That's why you're seeing things cut off. Oh, I got a 3. I got a 3. So it's pretty plain and clear to see that I'm more likely to make 2s. I'm more likely to make 2s than 1s, but ideally I want to be there. Am I getting skills? I am getting skill ups. Yeah, give me some skill ups. I need it. And notice here I can, even though my blacksmithing skill happens to be low, I can still, as long as I'm doing other stuff, and if I do happen to get enough points, I can unlock this Primal Molten Defender and just make it as is. Now I need to get these sparks and some of this other stuff somehow. I have no idea where to get this stuff, but you're able to make things pretty early. All the work that goes into trying to make like the highest item level thing, it's kind of funny if you think about it. If I happen to have low skill, and if I happen to just have these things, I could still make it. It's just not going to be at this very high item level. It's going to be at the lowest rank of whatever it is. You know, I'm going to, let's see. Okay, so now I do have this molten alloy. Yay. So now it says, oh, I can make a 4-star. But if I limit it to janky materials, then I'm at a 2, almost 3-star. Yeah. So kind of a big difference. 160 versus 241. It's a big difference with the kind of materials that I'm using. And I definitely have plenty to make this thing. So again, it's interesting. Like, I'm able to just make it, and I can make it at the high, you know, and I can boost the item level. I can customize the stats. I can add the embellishment, but what I would sacrifice is the item level. And I'd only be sacrificing 10 item level. Is that big of a deal? For some people, absolutely. Absolutely, it's a big deal. But for some folks, it's like, nah, man, I'm good. It's cool, as long as I can make it. Because with recrafting, you can go back to a skilled crafter and be like, hey, can you remake this thing? Because I just made this like with the minimum shit. I want this extra 10 item level. And they're like, sure, pay up, bitch. Yes, sir. And then you can have that thing recrafted, recustomize the stats or whatever, and there you go. And hopefully have it made at this higher level. So finishing reagent quenching fluid unlocked through specialing further in your profession. Yeah, so I don't even know how to access this quenching fluid. And I thought I put in a lot of points into stuff. I thought putting everything into here would be like everything. So I guess it's this soulsmithing, adventuring gear, stonework. Nope, not that. It's not this. I have no idea how to get access to this quenching fluid. I think it should tell me. Okay, actually, maybe this mastery stuff will let me know. So that doesn't do it. Learn to use quenching fluid. So here we go, quenching fluid. Okay, so you know how I thought this adventuring gear was like kind of whack. Nah, apparently it's like hella useful. And as for what the quenching fluid does, not a clue. Not a clue. So this, let's say it increases crafting skill by 30. So this helps to negate, you know, some of the higher difficulty boosts that come from adding these extra things, so you can possibly get the higher item level. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. Like, that's the big difference. That's where all the effort goes. It's getting that extra 10 item level. Did I need anything to learn the spec? Yes, you do need like specialization points in order to start progressing through here. So right now I went all in with shields. But I can make breastplates and greaves at a kind of higher proficiency. But if I want to go all in, then I'm going to learn the sub-specialization and get further into it. Let's see, I need 20 points in large plate armor. Oh, I didn't learn everything either. Oh, I could put more points. I was missing stuff. Okay. Also, I can use quenching fluid now. Okay. That's weird. So how come, why is it this like this? Using quenching fluid. Okay. I get it. So I can go all in with like a single path, and then nope, still doesn't show up. You son of a bitch. Alpha! How dare you? Okay, so I thought wrong. This thing's sad. Learn to use quenching fluid finishing reagents on large plates armor plans. Come on, man. Psh. Oh well, I guess that's just an alpha thing. But this is cool. I like this because there's a clear line between like, oh, I'm the casual crafter, or I'm like the super high end mythic raider, best in slot kind of crafter. This is extremely accessible, much more accessible than I thought it would be. And the difficulty here, all the extra work is just with that 10 item level for the most part. And I think that's neat. All right, let's take a look at alchemy. I feel like I did most of my for those of you who jumped to the alchemy section of this video, I did a lot of talking about what specializations and whatnot mean, and my thoughts on that. I brought a lot of that up with the blacksmithing portion, so I would advise people to get a listen at that anyways. But so I'm not going to be getting too deep into what alchemy is, but it's kind of the same thing. We are looking at, okay, you need to have a certain crafting skill in order to make things at a higher rank. You can make things at a minimum rank just fine, but it relies a lot on your equipment, which I don't know how big the bonuses are, your actual skill, which you want to have maxed out because that's 100 crafting skill that you're able to get, as well as your specialization. So you want to have like plenty of this crafting skill, so that way you can keep making like whatever it is that you're making at the highest possible skill. Now, one thing I need to do here, I need to buy points. I think it's this one right here. And then specialization points are earned through a variety of activities. We don't know what all of them are, but you need a lot of them. You need so many points. It's insane. And it's something that people are going to be working on for a while. This is not going to be something that you can just easily like, oh, let me just max this out really quick. Oh, no. Okay. So let's take a look at the different mastery things that are going on. So with potion mastery, we have frost potions, air potions, potion lore. No idea what these mean. So let's take a look at these. So improve at crafting potions with a rousing or awaken frost as a base reagent. Gaining skill per profession. I'm not going to learn anything yet because I want to be careful what I learned so far. But then in general, if we just want to improve at crafting potions, we can gain a skill there. Or what's this? Batch production. Master the art of producing potions more efficiently, gaining multi-craft per point in this specialization. On unlocking it, you get 60 multi-crafts. God damn. Okay, that's a lot. Requires 10 points of potion lore. In potion lore, so I need to... I'm not quite sure what I... So this is separate, I guess? So obviously it says work in progress. I'm like, okay, where's the top of the tree? I feel like... Okay, so this is the top of the tree, I suppose. And everything branches down. So this branches down, that branches down to that, even though it kind of goes up to the same level. Nice UI design. So you have to go here first. Yeah, you have to go here first. And let's say you want to get really into like the multi-craft, you want to be able to double, triple proc stuff. Then you would want to go down, I guess, this route here. So you're going to put 10 points here, 10 points here, and then 10 points here in order to unlock it. But then what's the other stuff? Potion experimentation. Gain a better understanding of your reagents to improve the likelihood of your experiments yielding satisfying results. Now, going back to how previous alchemy iterations were, as you craft stuff, you get a chance to learn recipes. So this is the route to go if you want to be able to learn everything. You might not be making it at like a very high quality, but you're at least going to expand on your recipe repertoire or whatnot. As for these air and frost potions, I think we need to like actually look at these different, take a quick glance at these different potions. So like these right here, this seems to be like just bombs that you can throw, kind of, sort of. Utility, you can reveal enemies. That's like a weird like jump invisibility pots. Not sure what that is still. And then the frost potions seem to be restorative. Yeah, they heal you and stuff. So that's if you want to go with like those specific sorts of potions. Part of me is like, okay, what about cooldown pots? That's all I care about, right? I just want the sweet cooldown pots. I want to pop. I want to max my DPS and all that. And let's see, air files. Okay, so there's potions and then there's files. Where's just the straight up stat potion? I could have swore I saw something like that. Potion of power. Oh, they simplified this greatly. So here's the potion that everyone's going to be drinking. The elemental potion of power. Drink to increase your primary stat by 271 for 30 seconds. With good material, actually with bad materials, I just have the skill of 26 because that's what my skill is. With the best materials, the skill jumps up to 114, but that doesn't mean jack. Like I might get a chance to make a rank 2, which is the difference between here. Actually, I'll stop here. So you can see like the rank 2 gives me a 312 stat increase. The rank 1 gives me 271. That's a big difference. I think the scaling is going to be a lot bigger here in Dragonflight. The numbers are bigger, but that feels like a big difference. That's like a 10% difference in stats. So yeah, it's definitely in my interest to try to make like the highest quality stuff that I can. So if I wanted, so let's go this route for now. Let's go with potion mastery. I want more crafting skill, and let's see what kind of perks I get from this. Boop. So here I got the non-combat potions last longer. What you do? 5 inspiration. Reclaiming potions grants an additional. I don't know what that means yet. Some resourcefulness. So this doesn't help too much, but I guess I do get some skill for it. So if I go back here again, so now it went up by a little bit. Now it's at 146. It's even closer to that. But let's go more. So I want to learn potion lore now. We're going to jack this thing up. And remember, I only needed to learn 10 points in order to branch off into like the next level of stuff. And so now I'm firmly in the rank 2s. It looks like. Yeah, I'm rank 2s. I'm trying to make my way to the rank 3s. And unlike gear, consumables like potions, they only have 3 ranks. Let's see, batch production or potion experimentation. I want to make money. So I feel like the way to go would be to pump points into this thing so I can increase this multi-craft. So what do I get? I get plus 60 multi-craft. Multi-craft grants up to 50% extra when making potions. More crafting speed. I've learned potion cauldron of power, whatever that is, and more multi-craft. So let's take a look at this multi-craft stuff. Boom, potion of power. So my multi-craft is now at 14%. So I have a 14% chance. I love that. I actually get to see the chance. And I can manipulate that somehow. So I can see that I get a 14% chance to make multiple thingamajiggers. And then we have finishing reagents here as well, which let me... What do these do, actually? I can get an inspiration bonus, and I can craft a little bit faster. Although that's not very much. So my inspiration bonus, it says increase it by 15 points. Not percent, but points. And right now, my inspiration is only at 1%. Which is whack. So this proc, this is like a critical strike chance, a chance to make this recipe with a higher skill, which gets me a lot closer to the 350. 350, I guess, is like the goal to hit if you want to make like the maximum level. What's up, Senjin? I'm just talking about this profession stuff, and this stuff is wild. It's wild, man. This lets me get more crafting skill, so I want to be able to make a bunch of this. I want to make multi-craft. Yeah, this is what I'd go for. Either this or this. Probably the agitating potion augmentation, because I want a little bit more crit, a little bit more multi-craft, and I want to like just get as much as I can. And then this just makes the crafting recipe easier, which I'm not sure I want to use on this here, because it's a 30 bonus, but do I really want that? I guess for the stats and the stats when you're popping like this cooldown potion, that's cool. I'd want to do that. Because of the way specializations are, and the tremendous effort that goes into trying to make the best thing, I'm kind of glad that there's only one recipe now. It's just one recipe that increases whether your strength or your agility or your intelligence, and it's not going to be I gotta make like a bunch of these different things. I gotta make 3 kinds of cooldown pods. It's just whittled down to one. It kind of takes away some of the interest, but I think specializations more than make up for it. So let's go back to here. So now I'm kind of a potion master kind of person. I'm trying to make like the most stuff in the best way. Files are, I'm guessing it's kind of the same thing. Works the same way, same philosophy. Files are the new flasks. They're just short term. They only last for half an hour as opposed to an hour, but they can stack in 2s, which is like, yay. Whoop-de-doo, I guess. Actually, what was this recipe that I learned? I learned a potion cauldron of power. So if I take 100, damn son, if I take 100 of these pots, then I can make a cauldron. Creates a cauldron that raid members can use to acquire fleeting elemental potions of power. When consumed, the primary stat is increased by not a lot. It's only 271. Now, what if I want to make like the good stuff though? I guess I would need to, I would need to up the quality, so I can make like the better version of it. But I need 100 of them suckers. Damn, that's a lot. So this is where it'd be great to have, high multi-craft and resourcefulness, so I don't have to use freaking 100 pots in order to do this. So this is where alchemy can get interesting with these higher level crafts and the things that you can possibly make from those. That's nuts. That's very cool. Yeah, so if I bring this up, I can make a rank 2, so that goes to, let's see. I don't know if the tooltip changes actually. Yeah, the tooltip's not changing. Nope, yeah, it does. But it's not changing the numbers. I'm hoping that the numbers change. So you can see like this is a rank 1, 271 for 30 seconds, 100 uses, provides 5 potions. People are just going to be like pumping it, and it lasts for 10 minutes. I hope that, now I do wonder like how many potions can you hold at a time? I have a feeling that it might be 5. Because that would mean 20 people, but still not bad, I guess. Maybe. I guess it would, I guess now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, okay, if I'm making the best stuff, one, but more importantly, if I'm using multi-craft, it would be definitely in my interest to try and, craft this, try and multi-craft this, because 100 potions equals 200 potions, right? Every time I get one of these. So yeah, I have a feeling that it's only going to max at like, you can only have 5 of these potions with you at a time, so that way 20 people, which kind of sucks. It's 500 potions in total. Oh, you're right. The math is wrong. The cauldron has 500 uses, not 500 not 100 potions inside. Okay, so that's dope. that's really dope, actually. And it lasts for 10. How weird did that last for 10 minutes? Because if I wipe, I guess it's like, all right, guys, refill your stuff really quick. But just like chat saying, numbers can change and all that. But seems like this feels like a pretty efficient recipe as long as you max your stuff out. If you manage to get a couple of multi-crafts off, even better. So I have a feeling that this is going to be like the very quick go-to. Now, as for like the other, for the materials that's primal convergent, different story. I'd want to learn like how is it that you make this, because you need a bunch of these materials, and that's going to be a different thing altogether, because that's only one half of the recipe. I want to be able to make this primal convergent at the highest quality as well, so that way I can get the most skills, so I can make this cauldron. But if I don't, I feel like that's going to be like just as big of an economic impact, because then I'm only going to be able to make one at a time as opposed to the possibility of two or more. So anyway, let's go back to so file mastery, same difference. It seemed like there was a certain recipe that you can learn from it. I think it was file. I want to see if there's like a certain recipe. Multicraft. No, not here either. So I think with potion mastery, there was that thing that let me. Okay, so this let me learn the cauldron of power. Doesn't seem like there's going to be a file. You know, there's not going to be an equivalent. You just get more multicraft, but still not bad. So my multicraft is at 140, and it can get higher with skill level, with gear, with. I believe that there are supposed to be consumables that give you temporary skill back as well. I mean, what I love about this is like what Chad's saying. You get your potion mastery. It's a lot more subtle this time around, guys. Like this time, you can eventually spec for all of it. You can get the file mastery. You can get the potion mastery. You can get kind of both, and be able to multi-craft like all sorts of stuff. So eventually, we're going to be like this shit's gonna like rain from the sky. But it does seem to take a lot of work to get into it. Yeah, there's a lot of work that's going to get into it, and we'll see like basically who makes it to the end, right? Are these sellable? No, these cauldrons are not sellable. Binds to Blizzard account, which is typical for that's been typical. But I'm glad they're at least account wide or account bound. Let's take a look at this alchemical theory. This one I'm interested in too. Can I pump into it? No. Can I craft while I do this? Let me see. Nope. Can't do it. Oh well. So we'll just take a look at this. 50 point. This is a 50-point monster. Improved at crafting stuff. And look at all these upgrade nodes. Holy shit. So there's 50 points that you can pump into here. We'll look at the subspecs here. So transmutation. You can get 1% resourcefulness. Oh, we gotta look at all these because this is fucking nuts. Okay, I guess we'll start with the base. So alchemical theory. So you get crit, get inspiration, possibility to make like more stuff. You're going to be learning 5 subspecs, so that's where a lot of these points are going to be. So resourcefulness, subspec, crafting speed, whoop-de-doo, subspec, crit strike, subspec, resourcefulness, crit strike, or subspec, and then finally the big one is more inspiration and resourcefulness, and it's faster. So it just makes you better. I'm probably going to focus on, just putting in the 5 points so I can get to the specialization that I really want to get to. So let's take a look at what we get. So transmutation. So there are transmutes. We'll take a look at what these transmutes actually do, because I am not sure. Transmutes. Decay to elements, order to elements. Okay, this tells me nothing. I don't have all the context here because I'm like, I have a bunch of these things. What are you talking about? And I need a Philosopher's Stone. Of course I need a Philosopher's Stone, which are these probably. Actually, it just says Philosopher's Stone, so you can use whatever Philosopher's Stone that you already have, don't you? Yeah. So maybe that's not a big deal for seasoned alchemists. But you get resourcefulness out of it. I'm not quite sure where the resourcefulness comes from because it only requires one thing anyway. And resourcefulness, let me go back to this potion of power. Yeah, you have a 1.1% chance to. Okay, they specify you have a chance to use fewer tradable reagents. So don't count on using fewer of the soulbound stuff, whatever that's going to be. So I get basically a higher chance of not using those materials, which is cool. I think it'd be cool to see like, I don't know if there's a daily cooldown on it, but what about reducing the daily cooldown or not having a daily cooldown? Or, I guess you can get a chance to Let me go back here again. You might get a chance to multi-craft these things. I didn't learn the recipe yet. I guess I could learn it if I wanted to. Transmute stuff. That's cooking. Genius. Something. Come on, transmutes. So, learning 1 is gonna be fine. All right, transmute. No, there is no thing. Now, of course, numbers could change. Right now, it just requires 1 of a thing. So I guess it's you get a chance to not use any resources at all. That could be a thing. Without knowing all the reagents that we need for everything, not a big deal. Let's look at chemical synthesis. Improve at specialty recipes such as those for alchemical reagents and incenses. Getting 1 skill, or you can multi-craft those too. So reagents and incense. So incenses, I don't think they did anything. I could have swore I saw some of these incenses and I was like, what are these? These are like nothing. So here's an incense. Oh, there's the incense. Okay, so yeah, light an incense, sure to invigorate everyone's mood. Last I checked, they didn't do anything. So maybe that's gonna change. Maybe it's meant to do some shit. Maybe it's meant to be like a fucking like a raid buff or something. It's like, oh, you're missing stamina, use this incense, and ta-da! Now you have a thing. But as far as I know, like, why would I want this? This doesn't seem to be much of anything at all. Yeah, I can make more incense. Wait, that's awesome. Okay, decayology. Delve further into the mysteries of rousing and awakening decay, gaining skill. Yeah, without. So I know I don't have like full understanding of this. So I know that like I don't feel as interested in these. Damage taken from the side effects is reduced. So these are those specific decay potions. So we got air, frost, trinkets, yada yada yada. I know that there are certain things here that had a tag called toxic. I think it was this. So maybe they mean to say toxic and not decay. That might be it. Oh well, doesn't really tell me much. Here we go. Use reagents more economically, gaining 1%, gaining 1 resourcefulness per point. On unlocking, resourcefulness saves 5% additional reagents when crafting. Oh, so it's a straight up reduction of reagents. Oh, that's good. This is that feels like a money maker or a money saver. Know what I mean? So resourcefulness, cool. 10% additional, whatever. So resourcefulness is like crit strike, but instead of being able to make better stuff, you just use fewer things. So chat is asking, do old world recipes stay as they are, or will they change? They have not changed. We'll take a look at that in just a second. What's this last one? Inspiring ambience. Becoming more inspired. So crit strike. This one is this is important, but I feel like it's not nearly as important. I feel like mass production is like the way to go. So the way I would think of it, okay, what are like some of these things? Yeah, save resources. So I would probably like kind of split my time between, you know, just going for potion mastery and then being able to like save on some shit. I'd probably go for the, I guess as a raid person, I would be like, hey dude, go for that potion cauldron thing. You know, we'll get that because that's gonna save us shit. And then from there, have them, you know, have the person focus on trying to save as much resources that they can. This is neat though. That's a neat way to think it. Doesn't seem to be like as crazy, well thought as like the crafting or blacksmithing stuff, but oh well. As for old world recipes, Nothing changes. Now, I haven't learned these things, but I'm, you know, pretty certain that the old recipes, they're not going to change at all. They're just there. No character copy, nothing like that is available, so I can't look at my established crafter people to see what I can make. And it's only Alchemy and Blacksmithing that's available for testing at the moment. I'd love to know more about like some of the other things like jewel crafting. That's really that's kind of interesting to me. Enchanting, inscription, some of those other ones. Meanwhile, cooking doesn't have a whole lot going for it at the moment. I mean, you still have like these levels. You still need to like put some work into it. You still want to try to find, I think you want to find good materials still. Yeah, you still want to find some good materials. But when it comes to food, it seems like there's only one quality of food. And I think they've talked about that already in their blog. So it's that at least isn't going to be a worry. The efforts at being an accomplished chef person, you're not going to really find it in the same way. No specializations there. You're just kind of going for it and using these other reagents that you can make to like make more stuff or to make it slightly more interesting. Now, the one big concern that I have about this style of professions to me is, well, what if you come in late? What if you know, kind of, it's like the Shadowlands dilemma, or like hell, any dilemma. What if you come in late? How hard is it going to be for you to jump into the market and be your own person and be like an established crafting person yourself? On the onset, it feels like it's going to be a big pain in the ass because you're going to be behind on things. Now, definitely for like some of the for the crafting specializations, like armor specializations, I don't think it's going to be as bad because you can kind of look at the market and be like, okay, so these people, you know, they've invested into making this. There isn't really a market for that, or the market isn't very strong for like, you know, shields or something. So maybe I can break into that market and I can like, one, I can make something cool for myself, or two, I can start selling them and fulfilling work orders. And I guess that's kind of how you're going to eventually gauge it on a server to server basis. If you're an armor crafting profession, look at the crafting order market, see what's there. If there are a lot of things that are just up all the time and it doesn't feel like anyone's fulfilling those orders, that might be your opportunity. So it's going to depend, but at least you can get like a, you know, kind of like with Shadowlands Craft, you can get kind of a decent representation of, you know, kind of a snapshot of, you know, what people want. In terms of making money though, it's not just crafted gear that you'll be able to make. You'll still be able to throw up any of these other reagents or whatnot onto the auction house, and those are going to be region wide. I wonder though, like how much the likes of Alchemy are going to suffer for this though. Okay, maybe it's a bit premature for me to say that they're going to suffer, but I think it's really worth thinking over, like, how viable is it going to be as a moneymaker? Because I've had these, you know, I'm sharing my ideas. I'm sharing my thoughts on, okay, this is what I'm probably going to do, or what I'm going to have my guild do, or whatever. Who else is going to share the same ideas as I am? Who else is going to be like, I'm going to just make potion procs and I'm going to make shitloads of money? And you have the entire region, you know, 50% of alchemists are going to think that same thing. Oh, crap. Now you're going to see like, oh, man, these prices are like taking a dump. And then you'll have to reconsider, you know, what sorts of, you know, what your focus is going to be. And how are you going to get by? How are you going to make money? And I have a feeling though that with consumables, the market is eventually going to balance itself out between supply and demand. It's hard to see. It's easy to doomsay. I totally get it, and I'm not going to fight that. I just have a feeling that it's all going to work out in the end. Going back to the original topic though, like what's going to happen for people who are far behind? It's hard to say because, one, we don't know. They didn't really tell us anything. But I just wondered to myself, like, what sort of catch up can there be here? And should there be one? And I don't know. And why didn't these points stay? I thought I applied these here. Boom. So I thought I applied it, and then I went to the recipes. So now can I do the finishing reagent? No, I can't. I hate you. By the way, I was like messing around with this in the alpha last night. When I logged back in, all these points were reset. So obviously all this stuff is a work in progress. Anyway, should there be catch-ups? I think that's a worthwhile question to ask, and something that I don't know if the team is thinking about that yet, because they're just working on getting this thing out, and they're going to work on, they're going to think about that later. But I think we should, as fans and testers, I think we should talk about this now and see what's, and kind of see what is, what's possible. How could it be? How should it be? Chad is asking, can I show my blacksmithing specialization? I am right now. I am a shield master. So let's do kind of a comparison. So this is a mace that I can make. I have a crafting skill. Let me uncheck that box. This has a crafting skill of 70 because I spec'd into blacksmithing. I get some bonus points for it. But if I go to shields, I get a much bigger bonus. Like here you see the crafting skill has a bonus of 30 plus 40. 30 is my actual skill. 40 is like the specialization stuff that I put into. But I put all my points into going for shields. So now I have a base crafting thing of messed up. Now I have a base crafting thing of 160, which is again 30 skill, but then 130 points that come from other sources. I'm very close to the rank 3. It's still kind of a ways to go till that rank 5, as you can see over there. But with different reagents, with these tools and accessories, I'm going to be able to make like better stuff. So far, I'm pretty jazzed over this stuff. I think it's very cool. I think there's going to be a lot that goes into it. But let me try to do some quick takeaways. I think I shared my concerns. Quick takeaways are, this thing's pretty cool. It's a huge overhaul of what we've seen before. It's going to take some time to understand. I feel like I have a pretty decent understanding of it, and if you've made it through and watched everything here in this video, maybe you guys got a lot out of it too. One of the bigger takeaways is that when it comes to crafting gear, there's a very big difference between, hey, I just want to be able to make this thing, and I want to make the absolute best version, highest item level of this thing. It's the difference between 10 item level. And it's a lot of work in order to be able to make like the best, to make like the epic shield or whatever with the best stats and all that stuff, and have that 10 item level. It's crazy. It's hard for me to really describe, but it just feels like if you want to make the base thing, it's not so bad. If you want to make the highest item level of that thing, there is a tremendous amount of work that goes into it. Much more than just being able to make it. I do have concerns over how long it's going to take to level this, as well as how long it's going to take for people who are catching up, people who come into the game late. What kinds of opportunities are they going to have? Are they still going to have opportunities to up their crafting levels and otherwise be able to make stuff and make money? I have concerns about cooking, because cooking seems very, very limited, because they don't have specializations. They don't have any of that fun stuff. But otherwise, this is cool. This is very cool. And it was a lot of fun to talk about this and explore it, because I was able to go on for like an hour without really thinking about it, because this is some really cool shit. And that's kind of all I've got. If you have questions though, chat, we'll talk about it later, but anyone on the channel, on the YouTube channel watching this, if you have questions or whatever, let me know. I want to help spread the knowledge and share what I've learned. But keep in mind, this is the alpha. This is the first build that we've seen these specializations and some of this other stuff, and so everything is going to change as we go. We still have a lot of professions we still need to cover. gathering. We haven't even seen any of that stuff. Skinning, herbalism, mining. We still need to go over that as well, because that's a big piece of the puzzle. How are we going to get all these materials that we need in order to make this cool stuff? So I want to thank you guys for showing up and watching, and people in chat for talking with me about this. Again, please feel free to leave comments. I'll try to read and answer all of them. Like the video, subscribe for more content. I'll see you guys for the next thing. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.